The Olympic Games are by far one of the most prestigious sporting events in the world. Taking place every 4 years, the Games have made a name and reputation for themselves. But being the dream of millions, it also features some of the most challenging sports. Stay tuned as we list the top 10 hardest Olympic Games. At number 10, we have water polo. Even though, like in the old days, players can't bring the ball under the water while playing this sport, beneath the surface, there's still a lot of kicking, hitting, wrestling, grasping, and clawing. The physical demands of water polo include sprinting down a 25 to 30 meter pool, guarding and wrestling an opponent without hitting the bottom, and playing with just 3 timeouts per half. The commitment required to get into water polo shape is often overlooked. Nearly half of a water polo player's practice time is often dedicated to swimming. They spend a lot of time on their legs, treading water to improve their ability to shoot and pass while catapulting themselves out of the water. These athletes aren't just floating next to their opponents when they're guarding, they're grabbing, tugging, hitting, and struggling for position. Moving on to number 9, wrestling. Wrestling's also considered one of the 5 hardest Olympic sports. It's also one of the toughest sports to master. The best wrestlers have a unique mix of physical strength, speed, technical skill, and mental strength. Wrestlers at the highest level need to maintain not only tremendous amounts of stamina, but also the explosive speed and power that come with it. To be the best at this sport, they need these qualities and mental strength to push their training and performance to new heights. Even though injuries happen in all sports, wrestling injuries are especially bad for physical performance and cosmetic appearance. Wrestlers often get concussions of different degrees, as well as injuries to their shoulders and knees. It takes a certain level of mental courage to dive headfirst into this sport, knowing the risks that come with it. Followed up by number 8, soccer. Soccer's a hard sport to master. It's a challenging sport that demands a broad range of skills to compete at the highest levels. On top of being in peak mental and physical shape to last the entire season, players need to be able to focus intensely and react quickly under pressure. Many professional soccer leagues limit teams to a certain number of substitutes per game. This means that most players on each team play the whole 90 minutes of a game. That much movement will change even the fittest of bodies. Competitors need to be able to run fast and keep going for long periods of time. A player needs to be on their feet and active at the same capacity for 90 minutes, with just a short halftime break. But there are opportunities to sneak in walks and rest this way. 7th on the list is archery. Archery is an intricate and complex sport that calls for accuracy, strength, and a wide range of skills. Archery practice requires significant physical effort. It's a staple of the Olympics and other major sporting competitions. Competing at a high level requires a lot of time, effort, and focus. Bow poundage is probably one of the first things an archer needs to train for. It refers to the force that the fully drawn bowstring puts on the archer's fingers. The weight could range from 10 to 75 kilograms. It takes a significant amount of time and commitment to shoot as many as 1,000 arrows in a week during practice, like some competitive archers do. Even though everyone can learn to shoot a bow and arrow, only the most committed archers can learn to regularly shoot at a high level. Archery is a nice hobby for anyone, but like anything else, you get out of it what you put into it. Next up, at number 6, we have figure skating. The short program of Olympic ice skaters lasts 2 minutes and 50 seconds, while the long program lasts either 4 minutes or 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Skaters get points from judges with use of a variety of elements in their programs, including jumps, spins, lifts, and more. Kat Arbor, a well-known figure skating coach, says that 30 seconds into a performance, the skater's heart rate is already at or above 90% of maximum capacity. This level of intensity must be kept until the piece is over. Arbor compares it to racing a choreographed 4-minute mile with a smile on your face. Skaters who want to be successful need to train in a way that increases their tolerance to the lactic acid burn so that they can skate for longer without stopping. Also, the skater must be able to do perfect spins, jumps, and lifts, which adds to the time needed to get ready for a competition. Moving on to number 5, horseback riding. Horseback riding is considered a hard and dangerous sport. That's because when it comes down to it, the athletes have to take care of their fitness and health, as well as that of the horse they're riding. Before riders even begin to, well, ride, they need to establish a good bond with their horses. Getting to know their quirks and mannerisms and how they respond to certain situations is important, because the last thing anyone wants is a berserk horse dragging its rider across the field. Owning and training a horse is also a long and expensive process process. If a rider can't afford the expenses that come with owning a horse, they'll be expected to pay for the maintenance of horses used in classes. As if that wasn't enough, a lot of money is spent on lessons and horse riding equipment. Also, at number 4, cycling. Aerobic endurance is critical for cyclists, both technically and competitively. The ability to maintain physical exercise for an extended period of time while burning stored fat and carbs is put to the test. Fatigue is by far the biggest problem that cyclists face in this sport. To battle it, they need to have amazing muscular endurance to prevent exhaustion. When they run long races, their muscles need to get used to the stress of training and not just rely on their physical strength. When riding a bike, it's important to maintain a healthy, upright posture, but muscular tightness and lactic acid buildup are quite common side effects. Even though flexibility may not immediately spring to mind when thinking of cycling, warming up and cooling down with stretches and exercise are just some things cyclists have to do in order to help a rider feel more limber and ready to go on race day. Then at number 3, track and field. Every track and field event has a steep learning curve, from the alien pole vaulting to the hard hurdles to the relatively easy 200-meter sprint. People can run, but to run with the best of form and most power, they need a lot of practice and time. Track and field is challenging. To put it another way, it's very difficult. In physiological terms, track and field is like throwing gasoline on fire. Many people think that running fast, taking long strides, jumping high, and throwing far are easy. But when they find out about the constant workouts needed to get stronger and the efforts that are required to do it repeatedly, it makes them realize how challenging it is. To do well in track and field, you need to have a plan, be very competitive, and know the rules and laws that govern sports competitions. This sport is not for the weak of heart or mind. Study after study details the careful planning that goes into training. Coming in at number 2, swimming. Swimming is, in fact, one of the few water-based competitive sports. Water is roughly 800 times denser than air, which makes it significantly harder than most other sports. It's hard to make fast progress since there's a lot more friction. When it comes to this sport, there's no such thing as an off-season like there is in other sports. Swimming is a year-round commitment. After the championship season, swimmers often have a 2-week rest, but once the rest period is through, it's back to those grueling workouts. We'll rarely see swimmers take a break because even a 2-week rest is the same as being away from the sport for 2 months. Swimming after that is antagonizing, and swimmers can quickly get out of form. In a race, every stroke counts. During practice, swimmers do drills over and over to get better at different parts of each stroke. And finally, at number 1, gymnastics. Gymnastics is ranked among the top 5 most difficult Olympic sports to compete in. It makes sense, since gymnasts at the Olympic level need to have great balance, strength, flexibility, and endurance in their upper and lower bodies. The bar is set extremely high because the chances of something going wrong during someone's routine are comparatively higher in this sport. Gymnasts need to be strong, fast, and mentally able to maintain an extreme level of focus so that they can keep doing dangerous stunts even after a hard fall. Elite gymnasts put in the same number of hours as a full-time office employee in terms of training time, averaging around 40 hours per week. Younger, less seasoned gymnasts, though, often put in a huge amount of time. Junior Olympics level 4, 5, and 6 beginners usually have 3 or 4 practices per week, and each one lasts 2 or 3 hours. That's a wrap for this video. Which one do you think is the hardest for you from this list? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.